All right, this is Paul Newman with the Cashflow Cafe podcast. Today we have Mr. Burt Jones on the podcast. In 1 minute or less, tell us all about yourself.
Paul, it's great to be here in Statesboro, Georgia, here in town for a big event tonight, a fundraiser for the Georgia Southern football team. I'm from Middle Georgia, born and raised in a little town called Jackson, Georgia, married with 2 kids, Stella 16, Banks 13. I have a business up there that I'm involved with my family, my siblings, called Jones Petroleum Company, and we're in the convenience store business there. And I'm also in politics. I'm serving as lieutenant governor here in the state of Georgia, and I'm running for governor too. So I am a common sense conservative guy that believes in allowing businesses to operate how they like to operate and try to get government out of the way. So it's been pretty successful so far for me, and just looking forward to touring the state and earning people's support.
That's awesome. Well, super glad to have you on the show. It's an honor to have you on. Tell us a little bit about a day in the life of Lieutenant Governor, of what you currently do now.
The Lieutenant Governor's position is it is one of those positions where you don't run as a ticket, but it kind of serves as almost like a vice president at the federal level. You're the president of the Senate body, but like I said, you're not on a ticket with somebody. You run separately.
Okay.
The lieutenant governor's position's main role is they're number 2, and they're the number 2 person. Something happens to the governor, they step in, and then they also preside over the Senate body at the state capitol. So they set the agenda, basically. So they're basically in charge of about a third of everything that happens in state government, particularly the budget is concerned. So it is technically not a full-time job. That's why I'm able to continue to work in our family's business, but all that will change when the governorship, that is a full-time gig. So
what inspired you to ultimately get into public service and run for governor?
Public service is one of those you don't really I don't think you ever think you're going to go into it, and at least in my case, I was from a small town, and usually, and have a business, and usually when you're involved in business in a small town, you get involved in the civic clubs, and you get involved in the recreation departments, and you do all that, as you well know, you're
right.
engaged in everything just because you want your business to be well known and successful, and sometimes you get recruited into politics, and either school board or county commission. Right. And I ended up running for state senate back in 2012, and had no clue what I was doing. Ran for that office, but and won. And I got to serve in the state senate for several years, but really got to see exactly how the policies that we pass and implement at the state, how they do affect our everyday lives and businesses and individuals and everything else. So that interests me, and also I always tell people, look, our best talent isn't going into politics right now, and sometimes you look and you see the state of the country right now, and when your best talent's not going into something that is as important as the political arena, then you can get in a bad situation.
We need good people in politics.
we do need good people. I think you need business-minded people at every level too, at your local, your state, and your federal level. And so that's kind of what's drawn me into and I guess made me stay in the political arena, because it's definitely not all the social media shots that you take on a day-to-day basis.
That's why I don't know if I'd have the stomach for that. I mean, some people, you should run for mayor. So I don't know if I have the stomach for all the shots, but inevitably that's going to come, because usually 50% of the people are going to like you and 50% of the people are not going to like you.
Local politics, I think, is probably a little tougher than state or federal politics, right, quite frankly, because you literally are right there, in it every day, and every time you go out your door, you're seeing your constituency, kind of thing. So my hat goes off to those people in local elected positions as well.
So when you have a business background, which
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely get behind, tell us about like some of the leadership leadership and some of the entrepreneurial stuff that you've kind of been involved with?
Well, we have a multifaceted company. Like I said, our main business is in the convenience store retail business. We don't have any locations down here in Statesboro. We might need. I got my sister here. We might need to find us a location.
We might be
down
looking
here now. But we're also into the car business. We're in risk management, real estate, and insurance business, and some other things. We employ about 2,000 people there in Middle Georgia. So it's a family business that we're really proud of, and we've our father started it, and both my siblings are involved in it, pretty heavily day to day, and so what we try to do is just the core mission, I guess, of we number one, we try to treat our employees, our associates, as we like to call them, like family, because we always believe, if you the simple little rules about if you show people that number one, you acknowledge the good work they're doing, you also show appreciation for what they're doing, and then you also show them that make them want to be a part of the team and the bigger mission. And so what I've always felt that, number one, when you're in a leadership role, you got to lead by example, but also number two, you got to you treat people how you want to be treated at the end of the day. And that's something we've been very fortunate, but with our successes, but I think a lot of it has to do with, how we've never really got away from our roots, and knowing where we came from, and even though we've had a lot of successes, we still just small town folks.
I think going back to treating people, it's just anybody that works in your organization, little stuff like if you need to get off on a Friday, everything doesn't have to be so rigid. It's like, all right, sometimes you can kind of say, hey, go do what you need to do. In my organization, it's like if you work hard, you should have the flexibility to go and do what you want to do. And I think that's always going to be big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always say, look, everybody's got their job to do. Everybody's got their lane to run in. Do your job, and we don't care if you get it done from 8 to 5 or if it's a 10 to 7 deal or whatever it might be. But don't let your role cause us not to, make it a deadline or something else. So
handle your business.
That's exactly right.
What does success look like to you?
Success, you can measure in a lot of different ways. Obviously you can measure success from a monetary standpoint, but, what I look about as far as being a husband and a father, and how you're perceived in your community is I think, one of the ways you measure somebody's success. Being a good husband, being a good father, being there for your kids on important dates, also showing them how to try to raise them, in our case, raise them how we were raised. And a lot of times, as an individual, as a parent, you probably don't realize how. I had a preacher tell me one time, you won't realize how well you've done as a parent until you have grandchildren, and you see how your children have raised people, because you set the example for them, you
emulate
set the tone
you
for them. So there's a lot of ways to measure success. Obviously, you have like I said, you have the business or as far as financial gains or whatever, but at the end of the day, I think what really matters is how you're viewed as an individual person, what your character is as an individual person, how it's viewed, and how your family, the ones who know you the best, how they view you, and I think if they want to be around you and love you and want to hug on you, I think at the end of the day, that's how you best measure it.
I have 3 kids of my own. A daughter, my daughter's also named Stella as well. So Chris mentioned to me that it was really important for you to always go back to you have these long days where you're speaking and you're doing all these things but it's really important for you to get back to your family. And I think that's really big for me too. These days go by really quick, and our kids are going to be out of our house, especially for you, 16 and 13. They're going to be out of your house before you know it. So you really want to spend the time, because once they hit 18, it's really, I've heard 16 when they get the vehicle. I don't know if you've already seen that a little bit. When they're 16, they're gone.
Mine still like being around Daddy right
That's
now,
good.
Even the 16-year-old. But it goes by quick. But at the end of the day, I don't and up to this point, I hadn't looked back and said, "Oh, I wish I'd done this with them" or whatever. We've made sure that we've always been there for them and for whatever activities
and
they're
your
involved
kids are
in.
going to be, hopefully future leaders and future leaders for the
You
family
hope so.
and their,
You
and
hope
their
so,
communities.
yeah.
You don't never know which one. I got 3 of them. It could be a crapshoot which one's going to be. But
Right.
so
Hey, raising kids is hard.
It is.
I don't care what
It's not
anybody
easy.
says. Raising kids is hard.
well, because you
especially
have
this day
your
and time.
full-time job, your all the things you do, and you come home and you still got to be a dad and be the things and all the things that you talked about. So, but it is definitely a reward and a blessing for sure.
Absolutely. So I love your place here, man. It looks good.
No, I really appreciate it.
How long have y'all been here?
This is year number 10 in October. So I've been in the real estate business about 20 years and do property management, vacation rentals. I develop, eat, sleep, and breathe real estate. I love it.
Yeah.
It's been a true success story.
I got a cousin that's in the real estate business, and he's got the best tagline of anybody I know in the real estate
Better than
business.
Call Paul?
His name is Bend Over. He's from Butts County, Georgia.
Well, you can't make that up.
And his slogan is "A name you can trust." You know,
that is funny.
and I'm not lying about that.
That's awesome. Well, big shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so
absolutely.
good.
So Ben, he was on the Jay Leno show. Do you remember the Jay Leno show when they used to take the newspaper articles and they'd be
pick
like,
them up, pick them
yeah,
apart.
pick them apart.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they took his newspaper article and
Oh, my
showed
gosh.
it. Bend Over from Butts County.
Is
So-
hilarious. That's awesome.
So, but he's done well too, though. So, anyways.
So our area, our region is doing really, really well. This side of the southeast corner of Georgia, we have the Hyundai plant. Georgia Southern's a huge economic driver for this area. Can you shed some light on, the growth you might see forecasted and what's happening in our region?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on here. Obviously, the Hyundai plant was a huge economic, boom for this area of the state. Give a lot of credit to Governor Kemp because he said early on in his tenure that he was going to, really focus on economic development all over the state of Georgia, and he did do that. And I think to his credit, the Hyundai plant is going to be a huge economic engine for this area. Obviously, Georgia Southern has been that. Not just a good educational institution, but it's one of those that anytime you're in a college, almost college towns, even when you've had the downturns in the economy, usually college towns
Still survive.
Kind of survive. They're kind of steady. So, but Georgia Southern is one of those schools that is growing. I think the campus could grow even more. It's undergrad is at 20,000 now, or I think something like
and
that.
if you can expand, we hit a record for freshman enrollment. I just saw some data on this today, and I think it's going to continue to keep growing. Our sports are on the uprise. Coach Helton leading the way for football,
Right.
and I remember when I first went to school here, it was like I couldn't get into Georgia, so I wasn't smart enough to get into Georgia. But I was like,
I wasn't either. I don't know how I got in. But,
you got it from football, maybe. Was it football?
Who knows? It was a lot easier to get in back there. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, the way the population of the state is growing, what the Hope Scholarship has done for 4-year degree programs, every one of our university systems have an opportunity to grow and expand. And Georgia Southern's high on the list of number one, a place that people want to go to. I mean, I don't know anybody that comes to Georgia Southern
Said they had a bad time.
yeah, and doesn't absolutely love the place. But with you having so much land and opportunities now, with the cottage industries that will come with the Hyundai plants and everything else, it's going to be one of those university systems that is, I think, it's going to be a benefit from the impact that things like the Hyundai plant and other things could have.
I know a lot of colleges want to see some of their graduates stay in the community, and I think hopefully as the Hyundai and Savannah keeps growing, like we get more and more people to stay in our area and stay in the region. So it's
Well, one of the things that have been pushing ever since I was lieutenant governor, and I'll be pushing it as governor, is I'm big on the college and career academies. I'm big on the technical schools. I'm also big on partnering with the university systems because there's a lot of job opportunities out here right now that don't require a 4-year degree, quite
Right.
frankly, but they do require a skill set, and and the thing I like about the college and career academies, which is really a fancy way of just saying what we used to call shop class, where they would teach carpenter work.
We need the trades and the trade tech and plumbing and electrical. We need that more than ever.
Exactly, and so and how you grow that, you can't have all that growth. All those skilled workers can't come from outside. They need to be grown out organically, and they need to be grown out through your school systems. And
how can we push that more? How can we push a little bit? Because that's where we really, really need it.
Yeah, but I tell you, we've gotten I'll give you a great example of private business getting involved with the school system. Gulfstream's down in Savannah does a really good job of partnering with their local school systems. In fact, they put in tens of thousands of dollars every year into the actual the school systems, teaching the programs that they want for mechanics, for upholstery workers, whatever it might be, and every year they get anywhere from 60 to 75 kids that come out of the K through 12 system there, because they went through their program and they went through the actual trades that were being taught within the school system, and they had a lot of successes there. And that's one example that's here, but there's plenty of examples of other companies that have done that around the state as well, and that's something that we really have been pushing. In fact, my old buddy, we were talking about it before we went on air, Champ Bailey and I, put on a big drive with promoting the K through 12 school system, college and career academies, as well as the technical schools as well. So those are all things that won't happen overnight, but we do have to start moving, I think, more in that direction, because, like I said, there is plenty of opportunity out there for kids that aren't necessarily college, bound, but they got to know about it, and they got to learn. They got to learn, be taught, and obviously actually be introduced to it. And the best way to do that is in the K through 12 system.
How do we get kids taught finance a little bit more, like maybe in high school? I just feel like that's not.
Yeah, some of the
everybody
basics.
Talks about that. It's just, but it's never something that I feel like is ever introduced. Like sometimes your kid comes home and says, "Oh, I learned this in school." And you're like, "Oh man, that's incredible." But I wonder how we could get that rolling.
Yeah, it's you just got to make it a focus in as far as the curriculum is concerned, and starting with your state superintendent and trying to work your way down, to local school systems and everything like that. So it's not a one size fits all type program, but we do need to push for more common sense day-to-day things that you're going to see the rest of your life, once you do graduate.
I'm passionate about talking about that, especially even with the college students. You think, they would know about credit and know about these things, and they're just like, they have no clue, and they're locked in when I'm kind of talking to them about that. But that's something I wish we could figure out a way to, even the colleges should kind of push that a little bit more.
Yeah, the real world problem solving, I guess.
So on the real estate side, with growth, Hyundai plant, Southeast region, Savannah, all signs point to growth. Where is affordability? What are your thoughts on? That's the big hotbed. Interest rates are high. Stuff's getting higher and higher, and it seems like wages are not matching what it needs to buy a house right now. Where's your headspace at with that?
Well, obviously, I've been a big supporter of President Trump and what he's trying to do with putting America first, putting Georgia first, and bringing things back home, as far as manufacturing is concerned and that nature. But also, he's trying to get interest rates right now. He's trying to get the Federal Reserve to drop interest rates. Can he drop them? He'll get there. Don't worry. He's going to get there.
We need a shot in the arm.
I like his chances better than I did the last guys, but he'll get there. But on the housing piece of it, that's one of those things that once again, it's not a one size fits all, and it also depends on the communities there and of themselves. Not every community wants the apartment complexes or the multifamily housing facilities and things of that nature. And I'm like right now I live in Middle Georgia, right below Henry County. Well, Henry County has outgrown their infrastructure right there. In fact, they're about to get outside what they can provide in water and sewers too, with all their homes that they're building right now. But they keep piling in more and more apartment complexes, and I don't. don't know what the long term.
They've kind of overbuilt. I went to Eagles Landing High School.
Did you really?
So
okay.
I'm very familiar with Henry County.
Yeah, they've overbuilt,
and it just kept going and going. Even when I was there, it kept going and going. You could tell where it was headed.
Yeah, so I would, and not every community wants that.
That's right.
So I like communities having that ability to basically say, okay, this is how we want our growth to happen, and some people want their growth to happen with 3-acre lots and
it's each county. You're right. Bullitt County's facing really unprecedented growth, and sometimes we're like, hey, do we need to limit what we have? We have a lot of building permits. Mm-hmm. Sometimes though, it's not even developed. We have a ton of permits out, but they're not necessarily developing the property. So that's it's interesting to see, if the town is it going to be overbuilt, which of course, affordability, when it does get overbuilt, becomes better because there's, more supply.
Right. But, in the meantime, we do have, tax credits available at the federal and the state level for quote unquote affordable housing. But you sometimes wonder if those tax credits are really making it affordable housing and not really just helping out whoever's developing the facilities themselves. So,
does it trickle down to the end? Well, you really need the end. I worry about the 25-year-old, the 30-year-old coming up buying their first house. It's just it's a hard thing to do right now for that age group to buy.
It definitely is, and it's like I said, it's something that's been in the works for decades now. So it's one of those things you'll have to sit down and address it almost region by region, really.
That's right. What are your thoughts on the big headlines I've seen? No state income tax.
Yeah,
that's. I would like that. I wouldn't mind that, but of course you got to pay it somewhere else. So where does
the state of Georgia right now, we're the second highest taxed southeastern state in the country right now. South Carolina is the only one that has a higher state income tax than us.
Didn't know that.
And the last 3 years as lieutenant governor, we have been lowering the state income tax. I tell people all the time, I was like, this is not something you can do in 1 year. It's probably not something you can do in 2 years, but it needs to be your goal. And right now, when you're sitting here second highest, that means Louisiana's higher than you, Kentucky's higher than you, Tennessee has no state income tax, Florida has no state income tax. You're still higher than Alabama as well. And so, if we want to continue to be competitive, we've got to be serious about addressing that issue, and we're going to keep doing it until the goal is zero. It may be a phased, maybe it's definitely going to be a year to year.
But you feel one day Georgia may be a zero. So, like, but where? Okay, so if we get down to zero, where else do you tax to pull that income back in?
Well, you'll look at a lot of different things. Like right now, we just set up a Senate study committee of guys that to look at just that. Last couple of decades, we've been giving out tax incentives to a lot of corporations and various different operations, literally in the billions of dollars. And we'll start right there and looking at which ones actually are meaningful from an economic growth standpoint, from an employment standpoint, and which ones are really just padding the bottom line for whatever that industry might be. And you start there and you start chipping away with it. Just like we've done, just a few years ago, we were over 6%. We're at 5.1 and planning to go to 4.9, or 4.9 or 4.89, I think, in the next year. So I'd like to see it sped up, but at the same time, I don't think I hadn't had many people complain about us lowering it quite yet. So
some of the stuff when you have to make these tough decisions, this is kind of off topic a little bit. Yep. I was thinking, I was talking to my kids about Brian Kemp making a really tough decision on when Corona hit.
Yeah.
Georgia was the first state. This was really, because we talk about business and entrepreneurship and all this stuff. Like, he had to make a very bold decision there and say, hey, let's get back to work. And everybody's making fun of him, all on the headlines. Oh, look at the Georgia governor going back to work. And what a bold move to make. And it turned out to be the right call.
It's probably the number one thing that reason why he blew away the competition in his reelection was that one move right there.
He was the first. He was the first,
right?
Yeah.
That
was a big deal.
The Florida governor likes to brag about it, but actually it was Kemp that was the first one to do it. But he did it, and he was 100% right about it. And I never will forget. I was serving in the state senate, and he was catching a lot of flack from all comers, and I reached out to him. I was like, stay the course. You're doing the right thing. because I knew having a business ourselves,
Right.
I knew number one that with all the things we had going on, I mean, if you want to keep people employed and keep bread on the table for everybody and all that kind of stuff, that we were going to have to keep the doors open.
Yeah, my mind could not function. I was like, wait, if nobody goes to work, how's this going to work? We have to work. So it was kind of a wild time.
No, sure. And Georgia, Georgia led the way on that, and is to credit Governor Kemp on that. He saw the value of it. He's a small business guy himself, and he saw the value of keeping the state open. And it, like I said, it was probably the number one issue that people always, when he was up for re-election, people always said, he kept us open. He kept food on the table for us.
Very bold decision, and it looked like it paid off dividends for Georgia and for him as well.
Absolutely.
How does Burt Jones blow off stress? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do to kind of?
Right now, I've gotten into pickleball.
Oh, that's it. Boom. That's my jam.
I've gotten into pickleball.
That's all you had to say.
You do pickleball too?
I guess am I a pickler? I think that kind of sounds weird, but yes, I love pickleball. I'm absolutely crazy about it.
My wife and I, we went this morning, and I was like, I need to do something else besides talk on the phone.
When you come to Statesboro, we got an indoor. I'm missing a game right now for this, but we play in the.
I would have brought my paddle.
Next time you're here, we're gonna play for sure.
I would love to.
We have an indoor court and outdoor court. You're in. So anytime you're Statesboro, we're gonna play. For sure.
I do like it. I just started it not too long ago, and so our whole family likes it. So it's a good thing because everybody plays it, but the kids play it, and my wife Jan, we play it together.
Have you had a chance to play in Macon?
I've been to that indoor facility. I have not played there. It's really nice.
That's a really cool way to retrofit some of these spaces. I really want Statesboro courts are packed. We have a good bit of courts, and they're packed all the time. I would love to see us kind of do some bigger, more public courts.
Yeah, I'm ready for it to become an Olympic sport because I'm ready to do that'd be my next venture. I want to try and make gold in pickleball.
I like it.
But no, I do that, and I like play on the water. We got lakes up there in the middle of Georgia.
What lake? I'm at Sinclair. Where you?
Oh, you go to Sinclair? Yeah, that's a good one. I'm Jackson Lake.
Okay.
So
there you go.
So
I've been in Jackson Lake many a times.
We like to ski. We like to boat and surf and all that kind of stuff.
Seems like the wake surfing is bigger now than the wakeboarding. Is that right? Is that what you're seeing on the lake too?
Oh yeah. That's all the kids want to do.
Yeah, that's
surfing.
right.
Which I do that too. It's fun.
And I think that's really good family time as well. The lakes on Georgia are very impressive.
I don't like taking those spills. I mean, when you fall on a surfboard, it doesn't hurt.
I think I'm going to be a surfboard guy, not a wakeboard guy for sure.
Yeah. Because I've seen too many guys tear their knees up on that. And
I'm not looking to do
too long in the game to be tearing my knee up on anything.
That's right.
Even though pickleball. There's a reason why those orthopedics advertise at every pickleball court I go to. You know that, don't you?
So my father just had a knee surgery from playing. He's 74, just turned 74, and he just had a knee surgery, and he loves pickleball. He's like, but I gotta have it because I want to get back out there and play. So he's crazy. I mean, he's crazy about pickleball.
I know it is.
It's addicting because it gets your competitive juices flowing. It's like you wouldn't think that it would. I actually was making fun of, man. Why are y'all playing pickleball?
You can't judge a book by its cover out on the pickleball court either.
No,
I mean,
there's some older guys that'll whoop you.
I had an 82-year-old man that he had me running all over the court. I was sitting there.
That's hilarious.
I was take it easy on him, and
he showed you what's up. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah,
and the women are good. I've played plenty of good women too. Women will beat you down too. So
absolutely. So I played with a group of ladies this morning. I don't think I won a game. But it was fun.
Last three questions. How do you like your coffee? You a coffee guy or no?
Yeah. I just like it black.
You're black. Okay, that's me too. No cream, no sugar. I didn't know if you got.
You look like a latte guy. You're not a latte guy.
Latte guy. Huh? No. I might look like that, but my dad drank it black, so I got into black. But that's funny. I'll take that.
Right.
No, I'm not a Starbucks latte guy, but there are plenty out there. We won't hate on those guys either. If you had an extra $100,000 laying around, what would you tell somebody young to invest in? What do you think a good investment would be if you had extra?
I mean, if hindsight, can I do it in hindsight?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I mean, I would have invested in Apple, a little company called Apple, or Bitcoin, So, but I am I'm kind of like you. I'm a land guy, and so it's all about trying to find some sort of real estate deal. With me, I've always been one of those that they're not making any more of it, so why not invest in it?
It's a great field. So some of the stuff is like, you've already developed your career and your business in real estate. And I think the fact, like Trump, right? He's been in real estate huge, and you can't really say he's in it for the money. It's like, no, I'm actually in it for I've already done well and been established in real estate, and he's out for the people.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's enjoying what he's doing. I mean, I talk to the president on a regular basis. Fortunately, I've got his cell number, and the guy picks it up. I've never seen anything like it. He'll answer his phone, and he's enjoying what he's doing. Obviously, he's been very successful in whatever business endeavors that he did. But he's got a lot invested in this country from a business standpoint, and his kids and everything else. And he wants to see the country. He wants the country and people in the country to be afforded the same opportunities that he was afforded coming along, and that's the reason why he's doing the public service work.
I really think a business background is important. I really truly believe that. I mean, I think there's some politicians that don't have any business background, and
I wholeheartedly agree, because in government they can make anything sound good on paper, but if you don't have people who have actually experienced those things in real life, then you get the bad policies that we've gotten through the decades, and so he comes from a practical point of view, looks at it from a common sense way, and whether or not it can be things can be obtained in a practical way. And so that's the value of having somebody like him leading the charge, or anybody in a leadership role, whether it's a governor or mayor or whatever it might be. I think it's very important for people to have real life experiences when dealing with policies that affect all of us.
The last question: what's Burt Jones waste his time on? Well, you seem like a super busy guy, family and businesses and all the things, and running for governor.
Look, these things right here, these are the best and worst things that have ever been created for mankind.
No
these
doubt.
Cell phones right here, and you can be very productive on those things, but you can waste a lot of time on them as well. And I'll be honest with you, I try to stay away from social media in particular as much as I can.
What is your favorite platform on social media?
I don't know.
Are you drawn to one over the other?
Not really. I mean, in fact, I'm not even sure I would be on social media if I wasn't in politics, to be honest with you, because there's just so much of it that like I said, you can get good information, but when you're in politics, you have to hear a lot of shots being fired at you as well. So obviously, I'm on all the platforms. Twitter.
I wouldn't mind seeing some guardrails up on some of the social media stuff. Maybe you can put that in something with some of the age limits and stuff. The youth is not 13, 14. They don't need to be on social media.
Yeah. We put there were some measures that were proposed this past session. On particularly the parental having parental permission and all that kind of stuff on some of a lot of the sites or whatever, and we're probably going to have to look at doing more. But the only problem is technology moves so fast now that government can't keep up with it. And so it's just. Us as adults have just got to do a better job of monitoring what our
phones
kids
ever. Mine's just about to get one, but if it was up to me, you'd never have one.
Yeah. So but you can waste a lot of time on those things, no doubt about it.
Well, Burt, man, it was awesome to have you on the show. I think the viewers are gonna get a sense of who you are. I'm looking forward to your running and winning for the state of Georgia. And
we'll be back down here. We've got a little function on September 8th. Excuse me, September 9th. September 9th.
Where's it going to be at?
I'll get you all that information right there. So I got, my
brother-in-law
lives down here.
Anybody wants to reach out, Chris Tiller, and reach out to me, and we'll have the details for the events. And Burt, it was a pleasure catching up with you. And thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Yep.